What's up, guys?
Welcome back to another episode of
Of
Whiskey
whiskey and
and Water.
water. We know you guys missed us. It's been 2 weeks,
Mhm.
but if you saw our video post on our Instagram page, you know why we took this 2 week break. We pretty much didn't want to be releasing any content at the time that was unrelated to the Black Lives Matter movement. And
Mhm.
yeah, but here we are. We have an episode ready for you guys.
Yeah, we filmed this episode with our good friend Bianca a couple weeks ago before any of this went down, and during for the past 2 weeks we didn't feel appropriate taking up that like digital real estate essentially. So we did put ourselves on pause to basically to educate
Amplify.
ourselves, amplify the Black community's voice, to educate ourselves, to educate our followers, to protest, to do our part essentially. So we did have this episode in queue and we wanted to go ahead and release it. But to preface this, it's not a discussion about the movement, but we do hope to have a guest on this week to release next week. In which we'll be kind of going into things. We didn't want to rush it and we didn't want it to feel ingenuine or inauthentic to us. So that's definitely in the works, and it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, so we kept the intro because we didn't feel like it was necessary to redo it. We kind of just wanted to do a little like PSA to you guys just to give you a heads up because ideally we would have had an episode out. The next episode we would have come out would have been I can't talk. The next episode that would have come out would have been relating to the Black Lives Matter movement. But like Jess said, we it's not a conversation we want to rush. We want to make sure that we have, someone who can really have a really well spoken opinion on things, and we want to just have a really good conversation on it, so it's not something that we need to rush, and it's definitely coming to you guys soon. It's an important conversation that needs to be had, and this platform is honestly the perfect medium for it because it is such,
Mhm.
I mean, it's a discussion. It's an hour-long discussion. Where else are you going to do that other than a podcast? So that's something we're really looking forward to. And in the meantime, yeah, like just to piggyback off of what Jess said, we are educating ourselves, watching the documentaries, ordering the books. I have books on the way that I'm going to start reading just about, the history of racism in our country. And I already watched 13th and it was so, so educational.
Mhm.
I would love to leave a link in our description so you guys can check it out. It's on Netflix, and yeah, if we can encourage anything during this time, it's just educate yourself because like I've mentioned in
And
my post, you that's the only way to feel sympathy on the situation and to really understand.
absolutely. And if you have the privilege to go out and protest, then I would encourage that tenfold. I went out and was able to protest a couple days ago because there's like a skate community here in Miami, and some people know that I longboard, and they invited me, and it was super calm, super docile, and then it got much bigger, and it escalated into the police using force to arrest some of these innocent people. And one, being able to watch that firsthand lighted a I guess, is it lighted, lit a fire,
Lit.
lit a
Lauded.
fire, lighted a fire in me. No, but like it truly did. It lit a fire under my ass, and really, really opened my eyes to, because I mean, you see these videos on Twitter, you see people sharing them on Instagram, and it's horrible. And I've felt sick to my stomach watching those videos, but truly seeing it go down in person has burnt that into my memory. And so if I could just
Mhm.
encourage anything, guys, it's to get out there, it's to protect the people that are there. Use your privilege for good, use your privilege to protect these people, use your voice, and yeah, just be the change that you want to see.
Mhm. And privilege is having the opportunity to educate ourselves on the matter rather than experience it in everyday life. Um,
Absolutely. I mean, I wasn't aggravated at the protest, and I have to believe that that's because of my skin color.
yeah. So that's that. It's a heavy matter, guys, but it is something we're taking super seriously, and we want to provide you guys with as much valuable information and education as we can moving forward. But yeah, with that being said, we are gonna get into this episode with Bianca, and we give the whole intro in the actual
Yeah.
intro.
So
But yeah,
there's
just wanted
you
a
guys are hitting
PSA.
two intros here.
Yeah, 2 for 1 deal. Okay, that's it. Enjoy.
Bye, guys.
All right, guys, we are here with the one, the only motherfucking Bianca.
Hey, what's up?
Wave to the fans. Hello. Well,
How we do, baby boo?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Hanging in there in
You guys.
Aussie.
Yeah, out here.
Down under.
Down under.
I couldn't help myself. That's like all I
remember-
know
I
from
hate
Australia.
when people say that.
I remember talking to B in last swim week, and I was like, so how is Australia different? And then like by the end of the conversation, I was so depressed that I did not live in Australia. Like it was sad, truly.
It's a lot different out here.
It's so different. Mostly the food though. That's like what I got from our conversations. You guys are just like all around healthier.
Everything's healthier out here. Everything's fresh. Yeah.
I'm about to come to Australia and get right.
Must be nice. International travel opens July 1st. We'll be there.
That's right.
Oh, God.
For
you
Swim
guys,
week in Australia.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
That might be the killer.
Let's get into it. Thank you so much for joining us. Guys, fun little insider. We wanted Bianca to be our first guest.
Mm-hmm.
And because she was in Miami at the time. It didn't happen. But here we are. Here we are. And we're so excited to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So I guess for those of our audience who don't already know, kind of just tell the people who you are, what you do, and a little bit about your story, and then we'll kind of just dive into it from there.
Cool. Well, I own Myraswim. Hopefully you guys know of that. I'm 29. I'm from the Gold Coast in Australia, and I'm a little surfer girl that started a bikini company, and here I am.
So cool. And for those of you who don't know, we will gas Bianca up a little bit because she deserves it. She's very humble about her brand.
She goes, a little surfer girl who started a bikini brand.
Yeah.
We're like, bitch, we're just on Forbes 30 under 30.
I was waiting for you guys to cuss me out.
That's what we're here for. All good. So we actually know B from like 5 years ago, maybe more now.
Yeah.
Kind of like just when we started on Instagram, I believe you had just released your first line. One of my first shoots ever, I was wearing your first line.
With Troy, Troy reached out to me via Instagram, because Instagram, it wasn't even popping yet. Instagram was kind of like just coming about the scene. Like it wasn't what it is today. So I think it was via comments then, maybe. It wasn't even DMs.
For sure.
Probably. Yeah.
So Troy, Vivian's fiance, hit me up and was like, I want to shoot your stuff. And I'm like, cool. And then Olivia was the model. And then, I think he shot later with Olivia Jess. A little bit later,
and then the rest is history.
And then we finally met during swim week when you had your first big showdown there, and it was awesome. And that's
I still have that photo. You guys walked up to me and was like, "Can we get a photo with you?" Okay, I've still got that photo.
So I remember when we were doing the castings.
The Oh no,
at the W.
Okay, yep.
And you said hi to us, and I was like, oh my God, she knows who we are. I was like, she like really knows who we are. And we were like so fucking stoked. And then we got to like sit front row at your show and like so proud. And now here we
That
are,
was a
so many
big
years
moment,
later.
man.
And
Yeah.
now, fucking so many celebrities later, so much success later. If you missed what Jess said before, fucking Forbes 30 under 30, bitch. Like, are you kidding me? We're gonna get all into it. Yeah, so Myraswim has been on countless celebrities. It's like countless press, like the biggest magazines, just to name a few. J-Lo, Kardashians, fucking
Every Kardashian.
anyone who's
Eva Longoria.
everyone who's
Oh, that
anyone.
happened the other day. That was great.
So wild. And like it's just another day. Like, okay, no big deal.
Just another day in the life of B.
But let's start at the very beginning. We want to know more about your story. We know that you started surfing. So how
Yeah.
did you go from you were a professional surfer, I believe?
I competed on the professional longboard circuit, so I like traveled around competing.
That's so badass.
Yeah.
She's
Like,
so
what?
casual about it. I can't believe you right now.
So
Yeah,
how did you
no.
go from surfer to designer?
Well, I started surfing when I was super young. So like all my teens up until like I was competing the most around when I was like 18, 19. I was a Billabong girl back then. If you don't know what Billabong is, it's a huge surf brand. And I had like the sticker on my board and like, like thought I was popping and
That's
was
legit.
traveling and then was traveling around doing like shoots for them and modeling, which is just surfing in their bikinis and all that jazz. Yeah, I was doing that, and then like I was competing on the professional circuit, which was cool. But you don't make that much money, just to be honest. Like you don't like. It's a different world than the shortboard circuit. So like the longboarders don't make as much money. So like as I got into my early 20s, I realized, okay, I can't live off this. I was living at home. I'm like, I need to like start doing something. So I worked in retail. I was doing visual merchandising. Um, Super cash, was still surfing every day. Biggest bum living at home. Um, and then yeah, like turned into the worst employee ever because I started like designing and like not doing my job and like sitting at my job like kind of like brainstorming every day. And then yeah, I put together Myraswim and yeah, it went from there.
What did you have like an initial moment where you were like, I want to like did you have like an aha moment, like an epiphany where you were like, I want to design swimwear?
Well, it only made sense. Like I lived in swimwear. So it was like I had buckets, like we had those big plastic like buckets at home, and I just had 4 or 5 of them. They're all full of swimwear. But I was like, all you wear is Roxy and Billabong and like the generic brands that every girl wears. Like I'm like, I kind of want something that's like my own. So through my teens, I would sew, I would make patterns, I would, be real creative. I go to the op shop every weekend and like cut up clothes and sew them back together. And like, I always had this creative flair, painting, drawing, everything. So I kind of like just kind of pieced it together and yeah, I started making patterns in my garage with a local lady that she taught me a lot about patterns and stuff. Obviously now I don't make my own patterns because I do too much.
I'm
but,
sorry. Are you saying patterns or
yeah,
patents? I'm sorry. Do you have the same question?
patterns.
Okay.
because patents are like, do you know, I mean, I don't know what it's called in Australia, but like the trademark, to trademark something, to patent something.
Different. So patterns is the same. It's the same. It's the same word for like spots and stripes and
Okay.
stuff.
Like
okay.
Oh my god. I'm like
Sorry.
imagining you like in your garage, like literally writing patents, like submitting patents to like sell to the government eventually.
So a patent is basically like a piece of cardboard that you create that creates the shape of a garment. So it's
okay.
how do I explain it? Yeah, so you basically like it's all the seams, it's the measurements. Yeah, so
Gotcha. So
that's where a
funny.
garment starts at. Yeah, so you make
Oh.
that, and then you line it up with the fabric cut around it, and then you
Ah,
sew
see?
accordingly.
Like a
Yeah,
stencil, like kind of like a little.
yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah,
Okay.
stencil. So
Oh, that's so interesting.
yeah,
See, you
so
learn something
and
new
in
every day.
yeah, so I was like doing all that, and then it wasn't till I found a manufacturer I kind of like a lot of manufacturers kind of do that side for you. So that took a lot of pressure off me and time.
Mm.
So yeah, I would go from that every afternoon after work. I would, be putting together garments and stuff. And yeah, and then I was in LA, and my first manufacturer was in LA, and I got all my first season made there, and I absolutely hated my first season. That was the stuff you shot in, Jess, and
Oh yeah.
it was cool, but it wasn't like up to scratch. But
Mhm.
it sold out, so it was
Mm.
kind of confidence boost. And then, yeah, I just learned from my mistakes, which is what I do. I still make mistakes now, but I learned from them all, and yeah, here we are.
So
Just grew from there.
wild. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, I mean, did you start it kind of as a little side hustle hobby?
Mhm.
And I mean, did you
Yeah.
expect it to like completely
Right.
blow up the way it has?
Mhm. I mean, at that point, you don't really think of that. Like, it's just more of like the creative side of it and me kind of doing what I want. Like, I wanted to have like a brand at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, I don't think back then I was looking at the big picture like that. It was more like, can I make some money out of this? Like, is
Mm-hmm.
this gonna even like get recognized? So it was kind of like a side hustle until I realized that I was like a store manager, but I was getting my casual staff to hide from my area manager that I was like coming in late because I was at the post office posting out like 20 orders like in the morning and on my lunch break. So it was that kind of moment where I was like, oh shit, like like
Like
this is
this
kind of like
could be
yeah,
something.
yeah. So
So
yeah, it
cool.
was
And when were
crazy.
you able to like do it full time essentially? Like when did you quit that
um
job?
I quit that job. I had a conversation with my mom, and I was going through a breakup at that point. So I like wasn't like wanting to go to work and like was kind of like not in the best moods every day. So my mom's kind of like, "Well, why don't you just take a chance? You can get another retail job. Like
Mhm.
Facts.
quit, yeah, quit, um, see how you go." And then, like, I was still living at home, and I'm a spoiled brat, like, single child. So, like, my parents are like, just give it a chance. And if it works out, if not, you can go get another job. It's on your resume. So, yeah, I took that chance, and then it worked out. I was selling, and I was making money, and it wasn't a lot, but it was enough to keep me motivated to keep going. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
What
yeah.
how did you sell back then? Like, how did you go about selling your first line? What was like, were you just marketing
On
on
a
your own
website?
Instagram?
So I had started an Instagram. Like I said, Instagram wasn't popping back then, so it's not like now where you can like be like follow this page like and have direct traffic. It wasn't, brands weren't really recognized back then on Instagram. It was everybody was
Mhm.
just using it personally. So I made my first website via Wix, which, if you know anything about websites, is like the bootleg site to like make a basic site. I did that. I made a little site, and I would tell people. It was more word of mouth back then.
Mhm.
So yeah, I made a little site and was selling via that. But then I would have people come to my house, and like word of mouth, people around, like, can I buy some bikinis? And I would
Mhm.
like bring people to my house, and like I had all my boxes in my bedroom, and I'd have my
Oh,
friends.
that's so
Yeah,
cute.
I would have my friends come over, and I lay all like my pieces out on the bed, and like, yeah, it's crazy
I
to think
love
about.
that. That's
That's
so
Yeah.
awesome.
because it really just shows that I mean, you built a brand from nothing, it's not like you got a
Mhm.
$1 million loan or
Yeah.
like, used
Mhm.
daddy's money. Like you really just started this as a
That's the
small,
Uh-huh.
humble little thing, and it
Yeah.
just grew into something incredible.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize, like, I had a great upbringing. I didn't have a hard upbringing. I lived a very good childhood and teenage years, and a lot of people kind of reflected that back onto my parents and was like, "Oh, Bianca took some money from her parents and like, started this business and think that my dad's like an investor in it or something," which is totally false. I had like maybe like $8,000 saved up, if that. And then I went and got a credit card because I had a full time job, so I was eligible to get a credit card. So I had like $20,000 in total, and I spent it all on the brand. And yeah,
Self-made.
Really quick,
yeah,
in Australia, do you have to have a full-time job to be eligible for a credit card?
yeah. The bank asks you if you like. They want proof that you can pay the money back.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Wow,
Yeah,
America is
We're
so
yeah.
asleep.
fucked.
I'm
Things
like
are gonna be coming up this whole conversation. We're gonna be like,
The
is that
difference.
wait, tell me
is
more.
that how it works
The
over there?
difference. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't remember what line it was. Like, I don't know if you had suits before the suit that I wore with that shoot,
Mhm.
but
Which is like
Mhm.
the lilac one, right?
yeah, it's like a really pretty, like
It
light purple color.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think yeah, that was,
But
like, my first, I think, yeah.
yeah, but I mean, even back then, like something that's so unique about Myraswim is that like you, your brand and your style has evolved yet stayed consistent at the same time, which I think is
Mhm,
something that's really rare for especially swimwear brands. I feel like everyone's trying to stay relevant and trendy and
mhm,
keeping
And
up with the
all over
latest
the
trends.
place.
And like
Yeah.
your original bodysuit, like you can
mhm,
still buy that in a different color
mhm,
today, which is
mhm,
like so cool in my opinion because
mhm,
that's like
They're
that's your
timeless.
foundation. Yeah, and they're
mhm.
timeless pieces and that's your foundation. So and back 5 or 6 years ago, like that the high-waisted thing was not
It
in
wasn't
yet.
around,
It
And
wasn't
yeah.
also,
around.
It
there's no
hadn't come
bikinis.
back. It hadn't come back. It was in the
Yeah.
'80s and '90s, but it hadn't come back yet. Everybody was still wearing, like, them down,
The
like,
low,
you know.
oh, it's so great.
I
Mhm.
had to convince Olivia to get rid of all of her low-rise things
It
like a
was
couple
like
years ago.
yeah, it was a few years because I was still like trying to rock like the jeans here or there, and they wouldn't be
Mhm,
like totally low, but they would be like mid.
mhm.
And she was like, "You gotta throw those away, sis." I'm like,
I'm
"Okay."
like I'm like, "Baby girl, you got so much potential here. We gotta get rid of that."
But
Um,
yeah, no, that's something that I think is super unique about Myra is that like those are timeless pieces and I feel like you were one of
Mhm.
the first big brands to bring that style back. Because even
Yeah,
I remember even posting in those and being like, "Ooh, this is some different shit,"
yeah.
that high
Uh-huh.
waist
uh-huh.
look and it's still so in. Um
Mhm.
so I think that also totally contributed to why people were just so attracted at first because you weren't just
Yeah.
making shit that Billabong was making and all the other
Mhm.
brands.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's what I've built off. My brand's kind of evolved with me. My taste is totally different to back then, but what I have kept is the fact that like my basics are my bread and butter for my company. So they're going to always be there. I always wanted to have pieces that were never going to outdate. I wanted to be the company where like you guys have your basic white t-shirts that you always go buy, your tank tops. I wanted to be that brand where like I need a black bikini. Oh, Myraswim.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like I need a white or nude bikini that has no prints, that's basic, that
Mhm.
Myraswim.
The no
You know?
prints. I love
Yeah, the no print.
it. No print gang. No
Yeah,
offense to people who
so
like prints.
but not my
But I
cup
mean,
of tea.
prints can also like be they're indicative of
They
like
can
a
be
trend or a
tasteful
time.
or
Yeah, no,
personality.
prints are great. Prints are great.
Yeah.
I love prints, but
Everyone
like
who loves prints is like, man, fuck you.
Yeah.
I
They're
grew
like
I like
tuning off. They're pausing the episode.
mhm.
Case.
Yeah. I love like I've so been into leopard print lately and like I love
Ooh.
leopard print, but like my
Is Myra
stuff
Swim about to surprise us with some Tiger King
hell
shit? No.
no. Hell no, not
I'm
gonna happen.
ready. I'm ready. Come on.
The thought was there, but not gonna happen. No. It's like I thought about it, but like it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. No.
And I feel like if you did, you would make it like for yourself. Like you wouldn't
The
like
tie,
wear
like
it
how
Yeah.
you did the tie dye,
Yeah.
or
No,
which
yeah.
even
Well, that
like
was
was
a one
fire,
off.
by the way.
the girl, that tie dye. You posted, you were like, no one asked me about this, I'm not making it for you. And I was like, but B.
I mean, if you want to buy the stuff and go do it yourself, go for it.
that
But
that is true. I do have some white Myra laying around here.
I think I do
go have
too.
some fun.
Ooh.
Liv, we about to get a DIY project on?
Let's get it. Yeah, so I love that it's like all basic colors, not basic, like solid colors. I
Mhm.
think that is huge. Again, a lot of brands I think mix and match and try to,
Mhm.
do what's trendy, but I love that you've stuck to like this vision
Yeah.
of minimalistic, clean,
Mhm.
just less is more.
To the point. To the
Amazing
point.
silhouettes.
Less is more.
Mhm.
So when you were like originally designing your bathing suits,
Mhm.
did you have like an idea in mind for what you wanted it to be, or was it,
Mhm.
or kind of did you make them out of like lack, you know what I mean, or were you like, I
It's
haven't
a
seen
bit
this
of
anywhere
both.
else? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit of both, especially with the high leg cut. That was
Mhm.
something that I really just wanted to find my place in the market. I wanted to find my little niche where like a lot of brands I find these days don't focus on that, which I do. I wanted to find my little niche in the market where it was like, there's not this, there's not that. Obviously, it's a
Mhm.
different story now, but back then, like, I wanted to have a high waisted bikini. I wanted to have a high leg bikini, um, something that fit my body really well, and didn't have the thick seams, which a lot of swimwear have that thicker seam. So all my stuff is seamless. Yeah, so I wanted to find that little gap in the market where I could fill, and that's what I did back then. The swimwear market wasn't as such saturated, so it was great for me to establish my brand back then, which I'm very thankful for. So yeah, I definitely took, what wasn't out there and my creative kind of flair and mixed them together. So yeah.
So good. So
That's
smart too,
amazing.
because you
Mhm.
really like you did fulfill a spot in the market. I think
Hmm.
that wasn't filled.
Yeah.
And even
Yeah.
even now to this day, like we as influencers, as swimwear models, we come across a lot of swimwear companies to this day.
Hmm.
No swimwear is
Hmm.
like Myraswim. Like
Yeah.
it,
Huge
it doesn't
compliment.
it doesn't
That,
compare. Like
yeah.
the
I
the
mean, as far as
fit.
like, my thing is, yes, the fit for sure. And even being like, Olivia and I are on the skinnier side, and
Hmm.
they still fit
Yeah.
amazing and make us look snatched.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And the fabric is just next level.
That's
Yeah.
something I worked hard on. The
Yeah, the
fabric.
the
I
Yeah.
fabric is a that's a whole other
Hmm.
conversation that we have to have.
Yeah.
But what you
I want
did
my
great
sheets
you
in Myraswim.
ooh, home decor line. But Jess, you brought up a great point. Like, either we're thinner girls, and the suits look great on us. And I think also what your brand is known for is looking so good on so many different body types,
Mhm.
especially thicker bodies. And that's
Mhm.
something that you've been praised for. That's something that
Mhm.
I think you are well known for. Is that
That you've
Mhm.
this
embraced and
that
ran with.
yeah, that the suits are
Yeah.
so form fitting and flattering to
Mhm.
larger women, and I think they appreciate that so much, because I see
Yeah.
a lot of your comments are like, I have never felt so sexy in a bathing suit,
I
and
love reading them.
they're like
Mhm.
thanking you. That is
Yeah.
so fucking cool.
It is cool, and I love it. And that's what kind of drives me hearing that kind of stuff, like obviously like everybody's different. There is super slim girls, there's thicker girls, and like I'm not super slim. I'm not super thick. So I'm like kind of like in between. And, I've just made garments that I wanted to wear that fit me. I've fitted every single sample on myself. Obviously, I fit them on someone else as well. But like I try them on, I see how they feel, I wear them. So, like I just wanted everybody to be able to, love my designs and love what I made. And, there are some brands out there that I can't wear the string, low cut kind of swimwear, which some brands focus on, and that's great. That's their market. I kind of wanted to be an all round kind of market where, everybody can wear it and feel great. So
Totally. Yeah, I mean, I know your suits look so good on like, a curvier woman. And then, I would usually, if I see a suit that looks great on a curvy woman, I'd be like, that's so pretty, but it wouldn't like,
not for
that's not my
you.
type of
Yeah.
suit. That wouldn't be flattering on me. Versus
Yeah.
your stuff I put on and it's still flattering. And it's like, how the fuck does this work?
It goes a lot to the fabric and the finish of it as well, having a seamless and such a lightweight, movable fabric that stretches and molds to your body. It kind of accommodates, the shape of a body. It'll fit the smaller or the larger because of the way it stretches and molds. So that was like a big thing to me, to have something that actually fit.
Yeah.
Not just like to have it look good, but to actually feel good.
Yeah.
So that's something I worked on for a while. Yeah.
And I think it's amazing because, like, I wear your tops and bodysuits all the time, like, as my normal clothing.
Yeah, with
Because
jeans and
like high-waisted jeans, or like wearing just even one of the bralette tops with like a little little something over it. Like, it's
oh yeah, I'll go to the club
it's
with
so
my stuff on.
comfy. Yeah,
I'll go
I
to the
mean,
club, like I'll wear it out at night, wear it to dinner, like yeah, why
Totally. Yeah.
not?
It's so good. And even also, just a little side note, I love how when you go in the water, by the end of this episode, every girl is gonna fucking buy a suit. Just so you
this
know.
is just an ad for Myraswim.
Honestly, like, I don't want you guys to think that we're literally trying to sell her stuff. It's just like, I mean, you guys know that we only speak our truth. Like,
I mean, go on our Instagram pages. Like, it speaks for itself.
Scroll
Like,
down.
facts.
We've been tagging Myra for literally
Years.
Like, years.
But what I was gonna say is, when you go into the water, the suit suction cups to your body. Like,
It does.
and you be walking out of an ocean like fucking Baywatch in that bitch.
It's the whole feel. It's the mood. It's the Myra mood.
It's so good. I kind of want to talk about how you scaled, because I think a lot of businesses fail when they do really well and they don't know how to handle it. And I know, just from seeing your stories and stuff and, talking with you, I know you keep your team relatively small. I know your family helps you. So I kind of want to go into that a little bit and talk about how you've like managed the scaling of the business.
Yeah, my parents, they were my first employees. I made my parents quit their jobs.
I love that.
That's amazing.
That was the biggest moment I know I've done a lot of great things and had a lot of, great milestones, but that was my biggest. Yeah, no.
I mean,
that was amazing.
That's fucking huge.
Yeah, I made them quit their jobs. I put them on a salary, and yeah, it went from there with my parents. But that was a really good start, because there's no one to kind of like trust more than your family. So,
absolutely. What a smart move too. I mean, you're lucky that you have parents that are capable, and like, because some people like, they would be like,
such a good relationship,
right?
With them.
Yeah, some people would be like, I'd never hire my mom, or I'd never hire my dad. So that worked out, but so cool, because it is tricky, especially when you scale as fast as you did. I think it is hard to trust people. You don't know who is just talking to you because they want something.
I had my fair share. Yeah, I had my fair share of bad employees. I thought it was great to employ friends, and like that whole term of like, there's no friends in business. Like, take my word for it, there is no friends in business.
I agree. I mean,
I learned the hard way.
Me and Olivia, I mean, it's just,
dude,
it's hard out here.
I hate that bitch.
And not everyone is going to be happy for you when you start succeeding. And I found that out, the hard way. So like, I had employed people I knew and it did not work out. And I look back now, it was a big lesson for me. I have a great team now. Oh my gosh. I have 2 young girls that work for me, Olivia and Gemma. And They are amazing. Like, I don't know what I'd do without them. Like, when they signed their confidentiality agreement with me for my business, I was like, well, you're signing your life away right now. You're not going anywhere. Like, you're
That's
dying with Myra,
awesome.
okay?
Well,
Yeah.
I think that speaks volumes because I think a lot of people underestimate how important a team
Oh
is.
yeah.
You
It's
know?
100%.
they drive me, like their work ethic, and like, just having our team. There's 5 of us in the office, and like, as my business grows, it's like I have more positions to fill, but my staff that are already there fill it. So we have multiple roles. My girls aren't just like Liv isn't just my personal assistant. She's my customer service. She manages the retail store up in our HQ. She does so many different things. And then, Gemma does all my marketing and graphics, and she's handling my wholesale now. Like, I've kind of molded them to learn my whole business because we all work together. If we have days off, we cover for each other. And yeah, it's great. My team is just everything. Like, you've got to have people around you that drive you and build you up, and they're there when I have shit days and when I have good days. They're
Yeah.
there to, they're there to support me, not just like work for me, but they're like family. They're it's our little family in there, so we all work together very well, and sometimes it's a circus. So we have fun. Yeah, we have fun with it too. So
That's
Yeah, and
so
you can
important.
trust them like blindly, you know?
I travel
Yeah.
so much, and they hold it down. I don't have to. If I want to go on vacation, like, I don't have any worries at
That's
all, and that's
amazing.
It's
right.
Dude.
priceless.
Yeah,
Yeah. You can't take that for granted because that is so special.
it is special, and now I've got it. It's like, okay,
You're not
this
going
is
anywhere.
like, no, don't you even think about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
How
that's
did you
just
find
like,
them?
yeah.
Yeah, no, they're amazing.
How did you
I
find
love
them?
them. Actually, when I went from my bedroom, I actually took over my parents' spare rooms. I made Dad knock down some walls and kind of built my storeroom and everything in there. When I bought my warehouse, I had to move all my stock. And it's not that easy because you have small, medium, large of everything, every color. You don't want to you can't pick them up and just throw them in a bag, and you're going to have to sort them all out in the end. So,
Oh my
and there's
God.
thousands and thousands and thousands.
Oh
So,
my
like, we had to put them in separate plastic bags, label them. It was a huge job. So, like, I didn't have the staff then. It was like 3 of us then or something. So I didn't have like the hands to do it all. So like, my ass is just like on Instagram, like, is there any girls around here that want some swimwear that will come help me move my whole business?
Hell
And
yeah.
Liv was one of them. She was like, oh my God, yeah, I'll come help. She worked her ass off for 3 days. And then my assistant at the time, actually was moving on to, she just finished university and wanted to go into her kind of like studies and stuff that she had done, and that was fine. So I was kind of like, oh my God, I need to find someone else. And then Liv was kind of like, hello, me. So like
Nice.
that, yes, she like, and then the fact I've seen her work for free, like, and do it with ease and enjoy it, I was like, okay.
Yeah, like good vibes.
Yeah, yeah, good vibes. And then actually Gemma came into my showroom one day to shop, and she bought me a bottle of champagne for Christmas and this card, and was like, I just look up to you so much, just what you do and who you are. And I was like, oh my God, that's so sweet. Because some people just come in and bring me these things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, why? Like, I don't get it, but like, it was so sweet. And then maybe like 6 months later, I had been like, oh, I need a graphic designer and someone to do this and that. And she kind of was DM'd me. She was studying graphics at that time and put her hand up. And then Liv went to school with her. So she's like, oh my God, Jen is dope. And then it was just like a domino effect. And
Oh,
yeah,
yay.
so
Meant to be.
yeah, it'll kind of
Seriously.
work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that it's, like, quality over quantity because if I didn't know your brand and I saw it from the outside, I would think, like many other companies, that it's I
Yeah.
mean, it's a
A lot
huge
of people.
company. I would assume
Hmm.
that you had
Mhm.
a huge number of employees. Like, I would think
Yeah.
that I would see an office space in my head of, like, 30
Yeah.
cubicles.
No,
Mhm.
like people don't understand. Like I'm paying these girls, hourly rates or like salaries and all that kind of stuff. Like that's a big chunk of my weekly kind of like money. So like
Mhm.
I never really wanted to like have a huge team. Like what's the point of it? Like I was going
Yeah.
saying before, like if we all can learn the business, we can bounce off each other and get it done together. There's no point in having 10, 15 people there
Yeah.
having a little bit. Like there's no point.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so before we go any further, let's hear your pro
Pro
tip.
tip.
Liv almost left me hanging.
Sorry.
Okay. My pro tip would be get yourself a good accountant. My accountant is amazing. Like he has helped me from the beginning. He
Mhm.
was my family's accountant way back, way before I was born. My parents always used him with their businesses. And since I had walked into the office, my dad took me to see him. Was like, and I told him I wanted to start a business, and he kind of like told me like what I had to register, the
Mhm.
accounts I had to have, like just all the basics in the beginning, kind of like told me more of like the money side of it and the business side of it, which I was all new to. And he was great. He was like, you got to do this, this, and this. And then I came back 6 months later and I'm like, showed him my bank account and my sales. And he was like, yeah, was like, what? And
He's
then,
like
yeah,
drugs. You're selling
yeah,
drugs.
I'm selling drugs. Yeah, no, he's amazing. And that's advice I give to anyone that asks me because I get that question a lot. Like, what's your biggest tip for starting a business? And like they would think, oh my God, do this or do that. Nah, get yourself a good accountant.
Yeah,
And
facts.
how does that work? So does he do like is he kind of like in house with you? Is it like you just
Mhm.
come to him like monthly,
Yeah.
weekly? What does he specifically do for you? Just out of curiosity.
He has his own firm. So he doesn't work in my office or anything. He has his own firm. He I use his bookkeeper. So like if you don't know what a bookkeeper is someone that keeps all your finances in line, like your receipts and does um all your stuff that like the taxation department have to know and all that. So
Yeah, all the
they
business
line it.
write-ups.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff, all the boring stuff. So
Mhm.
she does all that underneath him, and then he does all the bigger stuff. So when it comes to like my company investments and like, the
Mm.
big money and like me, distributing money in different areas, and he gives me advice on, the goods and the bads yeah, just all that kind of stuff. So
It's so important to, like, have
yeah,
someone guiding you because, like, we're all good at something,
yeah.
right? And, like, you're fucking
Hmm.
amazing at designing and selling bikinis
Hmm.
or swimwear. You're not great probably naturally at accounting and knowing what
No,
the fuck to how to handle your money.
yeah.
So I think
Uh-huh.
that's an amazing tip for everyone, like, get yourself a good accountant
Yeah.
and also
Yeah.
as adults, like, I know I have just been working on being more adult about my
Yeah.
finances and, like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
knowing what is going on, like, how I look on paper and
Almost
just
like yeah,
things
almost
like
like a
that.
financial advisor, like you had to have someone that, tells
Yeah.
you right from wrong when it comes to money. Like, my
Mhm.
parents helped me so far, but then I turned to him for stuff that, is this going to make me money in the future? Should I be distributing this to there?
Right.
Like, can I claim this on tax? Like, can I
Mhm.
claim this on my business?
Exactly.
Yeah, stuff
Yeah.
like that. So,
That's so important, especially when you scale the way you have in a short time
mhm.
period. I think that's
Yeah,
something that people can easily be overwhelmed with and, like,
yeah.
not know how to act.
Yeah,
So,
that's how
yeah,
a lot of businesses fail. They get too big too fast, and
yeah.
throw money where it shouldn't be thrown. And
Mhm.
yeah, that's something I'm very proud of. And I've learned a lot along the way. Like my business knowledge now is like, it blows me away, you know? So that's like, I'm proud to call myself a businesswoman now rather than like a designer, you know? So it's,
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, so my knowledge in business and finance now is like a lot higher than what I started, you know, like sometimes I
Mhm.
can know right from wrong myself where I'm distributing money and budgeting and all that type of stuff. So yeah.
So cool. Yeah, and that was kind of
Mhm.
like my next question was just like how you went about learning
Mhm.
business. I mean, at the end of the day, like you are a designer, but you're also an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
which landed you the spot in Forbes 30 under 30, bitch.
Oh,
Eh.
Um so
so huge. Oh
that
my God.
I mean, what? What? Who are you?
Yeah. I wanted that for so long. Like,
That is
you have no
crazy.
idea. My publicist, Ashley, hated me for so long. All I wanted, like, all the publications that have acknowledged my brand, like, don't, like,
Which there's a
so
lot, by the
there's a
way.
lot, there's a lot, but like Forbes was my number one, and like I would hassle Ashley for years, like, oh my god, just Forbes. Who have you contacted Forbes? Are you in contact with the editors? Blah blah blah. She's like, it's not as easy as you think, because like what, like there's a lot to PR in itself. So
Mhm.
like, and the 30 under 30 list is like it's a hard thing to make. So there's only like a certain amount of people that make it. So it was like something I wanted to be on, but then at the same time, it's like if I don't get on it, don't be too hard on yourself. But
Mhm.
when the opportunity came for me to apply and be acknowledged and stuff, I was like, I was shocked. I was just like, oh my God, like this needs to happen. Like, I'm not taking no for an answer. Like, yeah. So, oh my
I mean,
God.
that's stuff that you put on your dream board. Like that the fact that
Yeah.
you
It was
accomplished
like
that.
top
Yeah.
goal.
And being recognized in that way is so
It's
must be so
amazing.
validating for you after like all the hard work you've put
Yeah.
in and like just going
Mhm.
back to what you were saying about like being a businesswoman and learning along the way. Like I remember
Mhm.
even during swim week watching you interact with these brands, I was just like so
Yeah.
impressed. Like you
Yeah.
G shit, like you're just there with your laptop, fucking talking numbers, talking business, and I'm like, oh my god, she's a boss. Like it's so inspiring, dude. And yeah, we're just super proud of you. You already know that,
Oh,
but
thank you.
So proud.
yeah, but what were like, obviously it wasn't easy, but do you have any like challenges that stick out in your mind that you've had along the way in terms of just like business
Mhm.
or what's up,
Or
Jess?
Yeah.
like or the biggest challenge that you just didn't even expect, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, this chat the people don't understand, like, business is one thing, but personal challenges come with life in
And
general.
success.
In
Yeah.
success. So like my biggest challenge has been my mental health, and that's something a little bit deeper, like just staying like positive is very hard, like people throw things at you, and especially with social media and everything, like people have this image of you, and the pressure to upkeep that image, or like stay positive all the time. It takes a toll on your mental health. So that's been like a huge challenge for me.
Mhm.
And that falls into my personal goals as well, like being stable with my mental health and maintaining it. So
Mhm.
that falls kind of into business, because you have to have great mental health in business and then personal. So I'm learning that, where I can't, I've got to split the two up. I always
Right.
work too much, and my psychiatrists and psychologists are like, you need to be Bianca as well. You're not just
Outside of the
Myraswim.
business, totally.
Yeah. So
And
yeah.
and it's crazy because you can be so well prepared like in your business, but
Hmm.
if your mental health isn't taken care of, like your business will also
It
suffer.
reflects. Yeah, it
Yeah.
reflects. And I have had some very low points with my mental health, and I'm so happy that I have a great team. So when it does come to those times where I'm struggling, you know, personally, I had my team to fall back on and I can take a step away. But in the early stages where it was me, customer service, packing orders, stock, everything myself, it was straining. And I think, like a lot of people don't realize that like it's okay to punch a pillow and like get angry and like cry. Like my mum seen me cry so many times about different little things that like can just trigger you to be like so much bigger. But yeah, like that's been a huge challenge for me just to stay, mentally healthy
Mhm.
along the line. Yeah,
Yeah, which
definitely.
is huge, and I'm really glad you brought it up because it's an important
Mhm,
conversation to have and it needs to be spoken
mhm.
about. And I think
Yeah,
it also goes to show that like no matter how successful you are, if you don't have your mental health, you don't have anything.
health is
So like
wealth.
it
Health
truly, it
is wealth.
truly is. And
Mhm,
you are lucky that you have your team and your family who support you and
mhm.
have your back. But I love that you made that point because it is so important to have that balance and to have that harmony and
Yeah,
like
I'm just
as
learning. I'm just learning. After 5, 6 years, I'm just learning. Like this year, in the last 6 months, I've learned to close my laptop and push my phone away and go for a walk or go ride my bike or go color or I've just found a new hobby in gardening to kind of like to kind of step away and be like, fuck Myraswim. I need to be Bianca for an hour. You know what I mean? So I think
I
that's important. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so important, and I really, really love that you say that because
Mhm.
as much as we want to applaud you for your success in business, it is truly
Mhm.
so important to have success with who you are and your
Inside.
life
Yeah.
and, like, love yourself in that way, not just love your
Mhm.
business, you know?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And I think it's also a good reminder because like people like write emails and like customer service emails and like let's say they
Mhm.
didn't get something quick enough, like
Mhm.
people are quick to write a nasty email without
Oh
like
my god.
realizing that like you're a
I wish Liv was
human.
here. I wish Liv was here.
I
She
know,
gets
right? She probably gets like the brunt of everything.
woo.
But
She has
I'm
the
sure
hardest
you dealt with
job.
that. I'm sure you
Yeah.
dealt with that for a really long time when you were doing things
Mhm.
by yourself. And I think
Yeah.
that, it should just be a reminder to everyone to
Yeah.
be kind and
You
to,
can't please everybody, and that would be
yeah.
something else to speak on. Like, you can't please everyone. I cop a lot of shit, whether it's the model that I use for my campaign, whether it's if I'm not, fulfilling like just the little things to the big things. Like, my brand might be dope, but there's always someone out there to criticize it. You know what I
Oh,
mean? There's
yeah,
always someone.
always.
I mean, the
Always.
same thing could be said for modeling. It could be said for,
Mhm.
athletes, whatever it may be.
Mhm.
Like you could literally be like LeBron James, fucking all-star, and someone's still
Right.
gonna fucking hate you. And the same goes for
Yeah.
like modeling. Like I just shaved my fucking head, and the hate that I get and the messages that I
Yeah.
get every day are like appalling. But at the same time, it's like I can't fucking please everyone. I have to
You
worry
can't.
about number one and doing things that
Mhm.
fulfill me and make me happy. And if that means chopping off all my fucking hair and going full Britney 2007, that's what it fucking
Woo!
means.
No, it's so true. Like, and that falls back to mental health as well because it's like I cop so much shit, and I take everything so personally because Myraswim is like my child, and when people
Mhm.
criticize it, it's like, ooh, 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 like it's
That shit
like okay,
hurt.
That hurt.
it hurts, and it's like it might be just a troll, but then it might be one of my customers that'll be like, "Well, I got one of your suits and it's shit," and it's just like, oh, so it's like,
Totally.
but at the same time, I've learned to be like kind of break it down, and like those people will be like, why, like, I want to make it better, and kind of, take in that feedback. But then there's always someone to say to me, like, your ego's too big, or like you don't look, you get like my weight has fluctuated over the years. It's like, oh, like you were so skinny and now you're so fat, and it's just like it all takes a toll on you because
It
I
builds
mean,
up.
yeah. So
Totally. And
Absolutely.
especially when, we talk about this often, just being influencers and putting our life out there. Like, we know
mhm.
it's kind of what we sign up for. Like, we're putting ourselves
Yeah,
in the spotlight. We have to expect that we're going to get some sort of negativity back or whatever. People,
right.
we're putting ourselves out there for others to judge.
Yeah.
Not like
Exactly.
that's our intention, but obviously we know it comes with it. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's tough. And I think especially
It
with
is
you and your
tough.
brand, like you are so publicly associated with Myraswim
Mhm.
and,
Yep.
people
You're the
know.
you're the face of Myraswim.
Yeah,
Yeah, and to
and
some point, yeah, I am, and like I never realized, and my publicist actually like kind of like made this point was like your personal page is your business page as well, pretty much. Like I have two pages because there's
mhm.
a lot of people that follow me that don't follow Myra Swim because they will shop off of what I wear. So I
Right.
might wear a one piece one day and then I go look at the orders and I'm like, oh shit, like, like
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
it's like, yeah, people they they're always looking at you. They're
Mhm.
always looking at you, so
Yeah,
it's a
and
lot
that's
to
just
take
the
in.
yeah, and it's the pressure that comes with along with being a public figure because yeah,
Right.
they got shit to say. You're just not you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. And I think that's just like
Mhm.
across the board for everyone. And we always preach like a theme that we just stand by is just don't take things personally.
Mhm.
You can't take things personally.
Yeah.
Like the reason that
Mhm.
person said something, that's on them. It has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Like
So true.
cuz bitch, you also made Forbes under 30, 30 under 30. So
I know. That that
yeah,
that hit
so you
that
gotta
kind of
remind
like made my head
yourself.
a bit bigger. I know,
You
like I
gotta
have a
remind
little
them.
I that kind of like at like you want to be humble and be like, that was dope and everything, but like me over here, like I'm like crying. I'm like, I did that.
Yeah,
Yes. Like
no, and like you have to let yourself also give yourself a pat on the back because,
yeah. Yeah,
that's the
you kind
joy
of
of it.
uh-huh. Yeah, like I really wanted to be like, yeah, I'm that bitch kind of thing. And it's okay to be that way. I feel like people are like, oh my God, you think you're so good now? Hell yeah, I'm so good. It's like I made
Right?
Forbes
Can we
30 under 30.
normalize that?
Yeah.
I'm proud. It's okay to be
Yeah.
proud.
Can we
Yeah, I've worked
normalize
hard.
self-love
Yeah,
and self like
yeah,
kudos and
Self
then
self-promotion?
not call it bragging or not call it like cocky?
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I worked so hard to get to where I am. Like, give me the space to be like, I'm that bitch. I did this. Give me that
100%.
little bit of space. I don't have to sit here and be like, oh my God, like, yeah, it was cool. I'm so like
Oh, it's
honored to be part of it.
nothing.
I know it's all nothing. Like people want you to be that way. They don't want you to
Mhm.
be confident. They don't want you to be like, yeah, like,
They don't wanna see you thrive. They don't wanna see you
yeah.
win.
No, so like, yeah, I have all my friends and like followers that are like super dope. Me like, yeah, you did that kind of thing, and then there'll be your haters on the side being like, oh, she thinks she's so good now, but like, I'm still me at the end of the day. Like I'm still me. I'm still the little surfer girl inside. So, but still, I just want to be able to, sit there and be like, yeah, fuck yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Well, even like your personal page, I know you've gotten hate before just because you'll go on your story
hmm
sometimes and you'll say some controversial things here and there. But
yeah,
that's also why people like also fuck with you. Like
yeah,
you also have a really loyal gang following who's like fucking
uh
Myra
huh,
gang or die. And I think that's why
yeah,
because you have this energy where you just kind of like
yeah,
don't give a fuck and you are you authentically and you put yourself
hmm
out there. And I think people
yeah,
fuck with
no,
that.
yeah, definitely. And I get hate from that and I get love from that. Like
Yeah, right.
people I think over the years people have taken my confidence as like almost like yeah, like thinking that I'm too good or something and it's just like no, like everyone has an opinion. You want to give your opinion on me. It's like, well, I'm going to put my opinion out there on other subjects. So it's like
Yeah.
yeah, no, I've always been confident my thoughts on different, topics and stuff. I'm just always me. Like sometimes like I might be wrong, but at the same time it's like I'm never going to stop being me and I'm sick of social media kind of like making me want to be like hidden and have to be like this businesswoman. It's like, no, I'm a
Politically
smart ass and
correct.
yeah, I'm a smart ass at the
Which
end of the
which is
day. Like,
crazy because it's like that's what people like originally like when they first see you doing it, it's what they love. They're like, "Yes, like
yeah.
speak out and do this." And then of course you're
hmm
always going to have some trolls that like come back and are like, "You're a bikini designer. We don't want to hear about your political
Yeah,
opinion."
whatever the
Yeah.
fuck
And
they
it's
have to
like,
say.
"Bruh, I'm a person. Like, you can
Yeah.
have opinions while also having a career that's not like in politics or whatever you're speaking on, you know? And
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
like, I feel like we're getting, you know, a lot of that just because of the current climate, but
Mhm.
it's so important to stay authentic and raw and stay true to yourself, because if you silence yourself because a few trolls were making
Mhm.
comments, like you're doing yourself a
You're
disservice.
limiting yourself. Yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, people judge off of social media so much, and it's just like, if you what you see on my social media is what you're gonna get when you meet me. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
Totally.
there's a lot of girls out there that act all confident and be like, like this and that, and then you meet them in person, they're insecure as fuck, and it's just like,
Mhm.
well, I'm not that. I am insecure. I am confident, and it's just like I show both of those sides on my Instagram, and maybe I share too much sometimes, but like, shit, when you meet me in real life, I've got the same
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly.
the same truth. And I just think it's like you're not trying to be something you're not. Like you're just being
No,
you, and that's messy and
definitely.
that's confident one moment and insecure the next. And you're not trying to fucking act like
Exactly.
you're confident 100% of the time, because as much as you like will go on your stories and have that energy like, yeah, I'm that bitch, you're just as
Mhm.
quick to go on there and be like, my mental health is suffering. And I think that's like
Yeah.
that's so important, because you're
Yeah.
not just showing like the good and the luxuries and
Mhm.
your Chanel bags and shoes. Like you're not just
Let's not go
girl.
there.
You don't just share those things. You also do share when you're struggling and like when you're bummed out
Yeah.
about stuff, or when you're pissed off about stuff, or when a fucking
Mhm.
brand rips off a style or a design. Like you're just as quick to speak out when things are negative too.
Those are my loyal followers that have seen those days. Oh
Oh
my
yeah.
gosh.
Oh yeah.
Facts.
Okay, before we move on, I want to just bring it back real quick to a note that I had written down, just about just like, comparing your mental health and your business success, and how you kind of need
Mhm.
both to truly be like satisfied and truly successful and happy, in my opinion. But
Mhm.
I think it really speaks volumes about being happy with where you're at now, because I think in society, and
Mhm.
especially like as people in our 20s like trying to figure out life,
Mhm.
there's this common thing that we all do. It's like, well, when I get this, I'll be happy. When I make
Yeah.
this amount of sales, I'll be happy. When I get this amount of
Yep.
followers, I'll be happy. When I make
Hit this milestone.
hit this milestone,
Yeah.
make fucking Forbes 30 under
It's
30,
not
then
true.
I'll be happy. And I
It's
think
not
we
true.
like do that with everything in life, and that's just
Yeah.
proof that it's not true.
No, it's definitely not true, because I mean, I was struggling with my mental health. I thought buying stuff and having this and that would kind of like, like make me feel better. It's just like a little band-aid. So, yeah, I think it's very good to set goals, but not one goal. It's like, when I get here, it'll take me to here. And, like, I think
Yeah,
that
as you
keeps you
go.
motivated. Yeah, I think that keeps you motivated consistently, and being consistent with, I know I have my business goals, but it's great to have personal goals too. And I think people focus too much on, like, the business side of things, and
Mhm.
you have to be a little bit personal with your business. Like, my biggest goals right now is real estate. I have two pieces of real estate. I want to own three or four by the end of next year.
Hell
So
yeah,
it's like,
brother. Same.
yeah, I'm kind of like, yeah, you have to like focus on the consistency of your life. Like, my business goals are not just, you know, making Forbes and making my budgets for the month or a certain amount per year. It's like setting myself up for the rest of my life, which is like investing and all that kind of stuff. So people don't see that side of me on social media, though. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to maintain my business, maintain my wealth, maintain my mental health. It's, consistent through personal and business, I think, is key. Like, people kind of focus too much on that
I
one
totally
thing.
agree.
And I think it's
Yeah.
important to set like not only personal goals but like mental health goals,
Yeah.
like we
Definitely.
can set goals and aspire to have a more positive outlook, or
Hmm.
to leave insecurities in the past or to overcome trauma. And that's not
Yes.
to say that it's as linear a line as, you know, a business goal would be, but I think it's important to know that
It's just
we're
as
not stuck with our traumas. Like we
Yeah.
can improve our mental health and, you know,
Mhm.
things like insecurities, and like I
Mhm.
said, we can overcome trauma, and it's not a linear line. There's ups and downs. It's a fucking roller coaster. It's a never
Yeah.
ending journey, but it's important to know that we can be better.
and kind of hold
Yeah.
it at the same level of importance and the same pedestal as like your business success, because I feel like I see a lot of people like where I see that what they lack in their personal lives or mental health, I see them devote that energy into a business idea and then go
Yeah.
crazy about it, and I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
that is not the answer to your
Yeah.
problem. Like, you got to work
Yeah.
on you. Like, that's the
Mhm.
success of that business is not going to solve what's going on in there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it
I've seen it one
reflects
too
on
many
both sides.
times. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that reflects on your business too, because I mean, if you're got that negative energy in yourself, it goes over to your
Transfers
business
over.
as well.
Totally.
It'll
Yeah.
affect it, definitely.
Okay. Well, although we're already deep, let's get deeper. We're going to go into our deep dive.
Deep dives.
Splash.
Splash.
I'm
We're so
scared.
lame. Oh, we're so lame. Okay, so this is a set of 3 questions that we ask every guest, and we're just gonna fire them off. Okay.
Oh, shit.
The first
Okay.
question is, what is your why?
No,
Okay, guys,
seriously, I don't get it.
disclaimer, we usually send these questions to our guests beforehand and we forgot.
Literally throw me in the deep end.
Yeah, facts. So when we
Sink or
say
swim, sink or swim.
so when we say like why, it's kind of like your greater purpose. So
Like, what wakes you up in the
okay.
morning? Yeah, like what like makes you like, okay, I'm ready to fucking start my day.
The fact that I don't have to go to a damn workspace and make someone else rich.
Oh,
hell yeah, brother.
I
like-
never wanted to live my life making someone else rich.
Loved it. Love to hear
When-
it.
I didn't want to work underneath someone and be told and bossed around. I'm sure everyone's had that moment where their bosses picked on them and had that power and like, you know, I didn't want that. I've been there and I was like, that's what motivated me, you know, in the beginning. It's like, well, fuck your millions. I want to go make mine. That's
You
why.
love to see it.
yes, bitch.
That's a raw truth right there. Yeah, definitely.
No, it is, because I mean, you just like spoke to my soul, because that's literally like, that's literally a moment I had, actually, funny enough, working in a swimwear retail store like 2 years ago. Which you also have beef with. little mystery beef. We'll leave that there.
Oh geez, no mystery beef.
They owe me dinner.
Yeah, they do. They owe me dinners. Anyways, yeah. So like, I've had that moment working at a retail store and being like, "Fuck this! Why am I making someone else money right now?"
For me, it wasn't even like I don't want to make other people money. It was more just like I can't work underneath anyone. Like I just don't
can't have authority.
I
Each
do
to their
not do
own,
well
though.
with authority. I
Each
can't.
to
I
their
can't do
own.
it.
Yes.
I mean,
each
there's
to their
some
own.
people out there that have to. There's doctors, you know.
Oh yeah,
there's
no,
lawyers.
absolutely. Not shitting on
but-
anyone who has a boss. It's just not for
Yeah.
everyone. And if you have a good
But
boss,
but know if you are gonna work in that workplace, like know your worth and know where
Yeah.
you stand, and
Totally.
I mean,
love
it
that
is what it is,
advice.
you know? You need to kind of.
All right, so moving on to our next question. Our next question is, what is your favorite quote and what does it mean to you?
Oh my gosh, I got asked this in the Forbes interview and I didn't have shit
Perfect,
to
you're
say.
prepared.
I didn't have shit to say. Quotes aren't really like my
thing.
They're not your bread and butter.
I can't even remember the quote that I wrote in my Forbes interview.
It's okay. We'll
I'm just
snag
gonna
it
be
from there.
honest. I found it
We're
on
just
Pinterest.
gonna.
I found it on Pinterest.
That's the
So
quote.
It's
true.
okay. I think I found it on Pinterest.
That is
found
the
it on
quote.
Pinterest.
I used the quote
quote.
in my Forbes interview from Pinterest. I
Of
love it.
Pinterest. I wonder if I still have it saved.
If
I
that
don't even.
doesn't say who you are and what you're
My
about.
my IG saved like little folder is all quotes, but like I go to look at that when I'm like stuck, and I probably should go in there right now. But it's
Okay,
like
well,
I
if
don't
nothing
really
if nothing comes to mind, then
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have one.
okay.
All right. Last one.
Okay, the third one this is a doozy.
Oh,
What do you think separates successful people from those who give up, fail, or never get started on their dreams?
Laziness.
I love how she gives the straight answer. Fucking lazy people.
I mean, like, what's the point in like quitting something that you wanted? Like, it's just like it might not be like you make a shitload of money out of it, but it might be like the confidence or the lesson that comes with it. It's like, like why give up?
Or doing it for like pure passion. Like you don't I'm reading this book right now called The Big Magic, and it's basically about like, finding that creativity, finding whatever it is you want to do. And even if you're not going to make a job out of it, doesn't mean that it's pointless. Like
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
purpose in creating and, getting inspiration. Like that's what life's about, is finding your passion and
Yeah.
you living
I
it.
still have a lot of like enjoyment out of what I do, and that's something that like I'll stress the hell out of myself, and like my moods go up and down daily, to be honest, but like I still find the joy at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like you have to find joy in what you do, and you have to
You
remember
feel fulfilled.
why. Yeah, you have to remember why you started. That goes back to the first question that you asked me. It's like you need to like remember why you started it, and that kind of like recharges my battery, and it's like, okay, calm the hell down, get it done. Like, yeah. And if you're
That's
going to
your
be
why.
lazy, it's not what you should be doing. Like if you being lazy and don't have any passion for something, it's like, why the hell are you doing it? Like there's a lot of swimwear brands out there that girls make because it's like in trend now to have a swimwear brand, like I feel like every man and their dog have a swimwear brand now, but it's like, why are you doing it? What's the meaning of it? What's your story? And I find this is kind of moving away from the subject, but it's like a lot of people like a story behind a brand. Where did it come from? Where did it come from? Why are you doing it? And like I find myself buying from brands that have a dope story behind it, or they like have a passion for it. You can see it through the brand as well. And if you're starting something for the sake of it because someone else is doing it, you're never going to succeed.
Yeah, it's too hard. It's too hard. You need that fire, or it's not going to get you through the hard times.
Yeah, it's like, and that goes with anything. Like, like you've got to remember like why you started, and have a meaning for stuff and enjoy what you're doing. I think that's like key to a lot of things in a lot of areas. So yeah.
I'm throwing in a fourth one because I'm curious. Ooh. If you had to give like your three tips to a successful business, or like the three tips that you would say you would accredit your success to. Three things.
One would be relationships. So not boyfriends, relationships with manufacturers, relationships with customers, relationships with anyone that's my accountant, my bookkeeper, my SEO man, like my DHL state manager, like stuff like that. Your relationships with people take a big role in your business. So like they're things I maintain, things that I like, that's a big key. So focus on things like that as well, because it gets you far. Another thing would be don't look at Instagram likes or followers when it comes to a business, because some days I'll post a photo on the Myra page and I'll get 100 or 200 likes, but I'll make $100,000.
There you go.
So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't focus too much on social media with things. Like, do your part there, but don't think it's the be all end all of your business, especially with social media now, people running on social media. It's like your likes don't convert into dollars, you know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of,
that's good
I
advice.
shop with a lot of brands that I don't like their photos or follow them, but I'm still a consistent customer. So I think as business owners, you don't need to focus too much on that. And that's something I've learned along the way.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your publicist has been like pretty instrumental for you?
Yeah, my publicist was super helpful in my market of the business. Publicists aren't always necessary. There's a lot of like social media, I don't want to call them Instagram brands, social media based brands that focus on sales and more of just selling, and that's totally fine. Like, if you're going to have a brand and you're focused on selling and all that kind of stuff, that's cool. But me myself, I wanted a different kind of, I'm in a different market. So I wanted celebrity placements, I wanted articles, I wanted to be acknowledged by magazines, all that jazz. So it was beneficial for me to get a publicist and to help me kind of get to those locations. My publicist actually reached out to me many years ago. I was her first client. I work with Simmons PR, and Ashley is the owner, and she's amazing. She deals with Australian brands in the US. So me focusing on the US market, it was great to have her in LA dealing with all that over there. So she works, people don't really understand how publicists work. So basically she works closely with stylists who distribute product to their celebrity clients, styling of magazines, all that kind of thing. Then she works closely with the editors. So the editors are where I get, my placements in magazines or printed editorial shoots and all that kind of stuff. And we have a close relationship that goes back to relationships again. We have a great relationship with all these editors and stylists, and when it comes to photo shoots or swims or placements, because of our relationship, I kind of cut the line a little bit. They'll push back the brands that kind of, it works like that sometimes. Obviously, there's looks they go for and styles and all that kind of thing, but like when it comes to certain things, having a good relationship kind of helps. Yeah,
that's interesting, because that's something I think Jess and I have also like kind of been curious about. We're like, how the fuck is she getting this swimsuit on JLo? Like, that's like,
how does it even work?
That's someone's dream. Then it's like when you finally get it in their hands, and then they decide when and how they want to post. They decide if they want to tag or if they don't want to tag. Those of you who don't know, celebrities get tons and tons of free shit, and it's kind of just luck if they end up wearing your stuff.
It is. At the end of the day with celebrities, like, especially when we're gifting directly, like JLo's actually followed Myraswim for years on Instagram, which is
wild. I actually remember when she followed the account.
I do too.
Because you were like, oh my God.
I didn't know. Someone pointed it out to me, one of my followers, and I was like, wait, hold up, what? So like, yeah, I was overwhelmed with that, but like, in saying that, we had been sending JLo, this is just one celebrity instance, we had been sending JLo stuff for years. It just takes the moment of her taking a photo in it and posting, or the paparazzi getting that shot in her, to have the media kind of the domino effect, the media acknowledgement. So for years, I've been knowing JLo's wearing my swimsuit. She's in her backyard tanning, doing what she's doing, spending Christmas, whatever, like on her vacations or whatever. She's doing all that. I know she's wearing my swimwear, but just because she hasn't posted and, it hasn't been captured by paparazzi, you don't get kind of acknowledged by the media and stuff. But like behind the scenes, like the list of celebrities that my PR kind of shows me, like it's mind blowing. We've sent stuff to Beyonce, Rihanna, like all these big, huge people, but they might wear my stuff and they're private people. Like it's not every day Beyonce takes a photo. You know what I mean? It's not every day a photo. So all my stuff is there. It's just like when it comes to celebrity placements, it's like it's chance kind of thing.
Yeah.
We always heads up when it comes to like Vogue doing a shoot or like stylist or something. Like we'll get the heads up and be like, oh, we shot blah 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 piece on blah 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 for this editorial. There's a high chance. So like my publicist and I will have the heads up on that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's
so cool. And I think it's so smart to focus on that rather than the sales because, dude, when you focus on that, sales take care of
the
themselves.
sales will come.
Yeah, and it doesn't always work like that, but the market I wanted to be in, I wanted to be a mid to high range kind of market. So I wanted to always, in my mind, I'm next to the Saint Laurent's, Versace, all those brands, the Stella McCartney, all that. On the websites I sell, like Net-a-Porter and Essence and all those websites. But I wanted to be the more affordable high end. So, like, yeah, that's my little niche and that's what I aimed for and I got there. But in saying that, the placements with Vogue, the placements on celebrities help me with that.
Totally.
And that's going back to Instagram brands or social media brands. They don't strive for that type of stuff, and that's cool because they're just on a different wave to me. My wave is more high end, so my marketing and my placements really work for me where I want to get. So if you do have a brand out there that's not swimwear, that all that kind of stuff, you don't need to fork out the thousands of dollars I pay in publicist fees. Maybe that's not what you need. And then in saying that again, we get so many celebrities slide in our DMs. Like, don't be afraid to slide in the DMs, literally. Like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, like when you have a brand, a dope brand and good quality, like those celebrities see it on other people. And they already know of your brand. So if you hit them in the DMs and they see your little brand name, they're going to reply and you'd be surprised who's in our Instagram DMs asking for products just directly. You know what I mean? So our biggest
that's awesome.
Come from that as well. So reach out. You got nothing to lose. What are they going to do? Not reply? So
totally. And when you hold yourself,
I stay shooting my shot too.
Oh yeah, shoot your shot 2020.
Shoot your shot, girls.
But it's also so funny you mention that because something Justin and I say all the time is like, we are so happy we started with you from the bottom from day one because you don't work with influencers. And every time we post, like our influencer friends are like, yo, I've been DMing them for like years. How the fuck? And I'm like, dude, you're like, don't.
You missed that train. Sorry.
Yeah, we're just like, thank God we got in early.
I have my little list. I have a lot of girlfriends that have a lot of followers, and I know certain people. So like, I look after all my friends. I look after everybody I know. But when it comes to like Instagram girls, I hope I don't offend anyone, but Instagram girls, I don't fuck with influencers because just straight up, I don't fuck with influencers because they take my product, they wear it, they tag it, and they sell it, and they make money off of me. And I'm not cool with that. And I've been in so many arguments with girls who resell my product. They don't understand that it's not free to me.
Yeah.
It's not. I pay for manufacturing, I pay for fabrics, I pay for shipping, I then pay my staff to distribute it to you.
Right.
I then shipping costs to you. And then you don't want to wear it after you ask it for it, and then you resell it and make that $100 off of me, and you didn't do anything for me. That's not cool to me. So like, I feel
if you're gonna buy something and then resell it, that's a different story.
Yeah, not fucking with Myraswim. Like, go for it, because those people have paid for it, and they own that. When I give my product out, it's almost like, you know, like, you don't go make money off of me, especially. I just like, that's why I stopped working with influencers, and I've never paid an influencer. I've never told an influencer to wear my stuff or post and tag. Like, it's up to them, but I feel like if you're going to have a relationship with Myraswim, you're going to do the right thing by me.
Yeah, and I think that also is just like, especially now, I think so many brands are so, you know, sending stuff, you know, we know we're influencers, sending their shit, requiring a minimum of 3 frames per story and 1 Instagram tag and hashtag this and tag this, and it's like, it's so much more believable and authentic when you truly believe in a brand. Like, like the amount of bathing suits we have received from you, like, I could never afford. The amount of posts that we've tagged you in, like, it's priceless though, because it's a relationship that is real and true and genuine, and like when you love something, it shows. Like, you truly stand by a product and a brand, and I think you're so smart for not doing the influencer thing.
Right, and I don't look down upon anyone that has a brand that pays influencers to market their stuff and all that. That's dope. But I put my money into Google ads. I put my money into other ads. I put money into my publicists. I don't find paying an influencer, I don't get return on that.
You don't get the return, right?
Yeah, my brand's too known to do that, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. But me, myself, just through experiences of influencers doing the wrong thing by me, I'm not cool with it, and I just put my foot down, and we don't send out product anymore. So most of the influencers that you see posting and tagging are either like in love with my product and do it out of like they want to, or they're my friends and they owe me that. So like, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's my view on it though. Other people have different views on it, and there's no right to wrong, but that's just
totally.
Yeah, definitely.
It's your angle.
It's my angle.
Your branding.
Yeah, it's my branding. Like, I don't want to be the brand like High Smile or, you know, like Teen, where it is, like the waist trainers. I don't want, because then people don't believe in your product.
Yeah.
I don't buy 100%. Those in those tees because I know they pay everybody.
Right.
So you want people to be, all my marketing and my brand is organic. And I probably mentioned this before, but my whole brand is organic. I've built my reputation and everything off of people that love my product. And you can sell anything if it's organic. I think people believe in product if they know it's true. Because there's a lot of false product out there that people get ripped off by, and they're like, oh shit, well, I'm not going to listen to another ad again. So it's like,
totally.
Yeah, and that's like done so well.
And that's why like influencers started like getting heat for not disclosing their ads, because it's like you're promoting a product and endorsing a product that you potentially have never even tried. You know, like you don't know who's out there being, and that's why you have to be also very choosy with who you're choosing to follow and basically trust in.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a whole other combo.
That is a whole other conversation. But I think it makes Myra really unique in that way too. And it kind of just like, you know, you keep yourself at that level. You're like, the only people who you'll see wearing my suits are customers, my ride or die friends, or celebrities. You know, it like kind of makes it like quality over quantity.
Exactly. And that goes back to relationships. It's like I built these relationships with people. That's why Rita Ora tag. That's why, Eva Longoria tag. That's why Christina Milian tags. That's why all these people tag. I never ask them.
Yeah.
They love my product, and that's organic.
And even if you did like ask them, it kind of prompts a different conversation because then they're like, their publicist or whoever gets back to them and is like, oh, they charge this much for a post. And then all of a sudden, the relationship just isn't as organic. And when a brand sends us stuff and like doesn't ask us to post, or like they're not like, hey, you have
more
to,
love.
They're like, you don't have to post 5 stories detailing, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, word, they're giving me this freedom. I want to reward them for that.
Yeah, and it gives you the space for them to try. Like, I'm sure you get a lot of, like, say, cosmetics. Like, someone says, oh, you have to post this and you have to do this. It's like, well, why? Like, it's like if you get sent something and you're like, oh, this lip gloss looks cool, and then you put it on and it's dope, you're like, oh, shit, I want to share this. And that goes with swimwear. It's like, I'm just going to keep my silence. Take the chance of the little bit of money, and like I said, it costs me money to send people things. Take that chance in sending them stuff, and if they like it and if they wear it, I think that they will tag and give the acknowledgement to it because they like it.
Yeah, and that you can't pay for.
You can't pay for. Yes,
priceless. And that's on good product.
Yeah, no, it's
all right.
Yeah, good.
Wow.
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 I've been sitting here since the sun was up.
Thank you so much, B, for joining us. It was a pleasure, an honor to have you on finally.
Finally, I've waited. How long have you guys had your podcast for?
Almost a year now.
There you go. A year ago, this was in the works.
Yes. 5 years ago, Myra was in the works. Look at us now.
We're all supporting each other, and always support your friends. Always.
Yeah, facts.
Facts. Big facts.
Big facts.
Thanks for coming on, B. We love you so much. We're so proud of you and can't wait to share this.
If people want to know more, follow you, if they don't already follow you, where can they find you at?
Bianca Elouise is my personal page, all one word. Myraswim, obviously. Then we got Myra Gang, people with kids, follow Myra Mini. Yeah.
Yeah, to all our mommies out there, quick plug. She's got Myra Mini.
Sure, the little one.
I'm about to fucking bust a kid out right now and start matching with that bitch. My boyfriend's gonna listen to this and be like, fuck.
Just so she can wear Mini Myra.
Kid.
All right, B. Thank you, baby. We love you. Have a great day over there in Australia.
If you guys enjoyed this episode, please retweet it. Oh my god,
are you okay?
It's time to log off. Repost it, take a screenshot, share your story, tag Bianca, tag us. We love to see you're listening. And brothers, make it a killer week. We love you guys. Thank you for coming out every week and listening to our show. Couldn't do it without you. Have a good one. Peace.
Bye.